What if everything you thought you knew about achieving your biggest goals was just, well, a distraction? Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're taking a really unfiltered, kind of unflinching look at what it actually takes to achieve greatness. We're drawing from some insightful excerpts titled The Discipline of Greatness, and it's quite a powerful collection of thoughts. It promises to cut through all that noise, the quick fixes, the hacks, instant gratification. Our mission for you, our listener, is basically to pull back the curtain on lasting success, uncovering those timeless, maybe often uncomfortable truths that, let's be honest, most people kind of don't want to hear.
Exactly. In this deep dive, it's grounded in a perspective that doesn't just confront the modern obsession with immediate rewards. It fundamentally challenges it. It strips away the glamour, right? And those often misleading narratives we hear about overnight success. Instead, it focuses on the bedrock principles: discipline, sustained effort, and real resilience. We're not looking for surface level tips here. We're aiming to extract these core nuggets of wisdom that really compel us to reevaluate our whole approach to ambition, to our craft, maybe even to our lives.
Right. And by the end of our conversation today, you'll hopefully have a much clearer understanding of why that difficult path isn't just a path, but so often the only path to true fulfillment and, undeniable achievement. Our goal is really to equip you with a mindset that doesn't just accept struggle, but actually embraces the very things that typically stop others in their tracks. We're talking about a pretty profound internal shift here. So let's start waiting for permission, maybe, and start digging into these powerful ideas. Okay, so our sources, they immediately cut right to the chase. It feels like a powerful wake-up call for anyone who's ever dreamed big. It says, success isn't handed to you. It's earned in silence, in sweat, and in sacrifice. That really sets a no-nonsense tone, doesn't it, right from the start? It makes it clear that greatness isn't some mystical gift or innate talent for a lucky few. It's something forged from an internal fire that refuses to quit. It demands discipline, relentless effort, and it's a direct challenge to this world obsessed with quick wins, fast results, and instant gratification. What I find so striking is how it immediately reframes our whole understanding of success.
It absolutely does. And what's really insightful here is how the source fundamentally shifts the definition of success itself. It moves away from seeing success as just an external outcome, like a trophy, a promotion, a number in a bank account, or even just, inherent talent or luck. Instead, it frames it as an internal, consistent process. And this is where I think a lot of conventional success advice falls short. It focuses on the outcomes.
The destination.
Exactly. While this source centers on the internal transformation, the journey, the text strongly suggests that while, maybe innate talent gives you a head start, maybe opens a few doors, it's that sustained, often invisible effort and an unwavering spirit that truly builds enduring greatness. And this directly challenges that common narrative, that some people are just born great or they just got lucky. The real emphasis, as the source puts it, is on showing up day after day when no one's watching, putting in the hours when everyone else is resting, choosing discipline when quitting feels easier. It's about those quiet, persistent actions adding up over time.
And it paints such a visceral picture of that process, right? The text talks about greatness being built with calloused hands, tired eyes, and an unbreakable heart. That imagery, it's so powerful. It immediately makes you think of the sheer volume of repetitive hard work required. The countless hours honing a craft, the late nights researching, the early mornings practicing. It's not just physical labor, obviously, but it's a vivid metaphor for the mental, the emotional fortitude you need to face constant setbacks without just crumbling. It highlights the immense physical and mental toll, suggesting that any visible success we admire has these invisible, arduous costs behind it.
We see the highlight reel.
Exactly. But we rarely see the thousands of takes that were cut, or the practices in the freezing rain, or the endless hours studying. As the source says really powerfully, every great leader, athlete, artist, or entrepreneur you admire didn't get there by accident. They got there because they outworked everyone else. It truly makes you reconsider what effort even means.
And that's a crucial distinction because it implies that the decision to pursue greatness isn't just a one-time thing, a burst of inspiration. It's a continuous iterative process, a series of daily choices. The source isn't saying you wake up one day and suddenly you're great. Instead, you become great through the consistent, deliberate choices you make, day in, day out. The true building blocks of that unbreakable heart the text mentions. They're those consistent decisions, the choice to work while others are asleep, to persist when others quit, to learn from a mistake instead of just giving up.
Mhm.
It's those moments of quiet determination, when no one is watching, that truly count. The difference between the top 1% and everyone else, it clarifies, isn't luck or some magic ability, it's consistency.
Mm.
And it's the discipline to keep moving forward when the excitement fades, when the applause stops, when no one believes but you. This is where the true character of greatness is forged, really. In those unglamorous, often lonely moments of self-discipline.
So for you, listening right now, if you've ever felt discouraged by someone else's apparent overnight success, or maybe wondered if you just lack some innate gift, this material really urges you to look deeper. It suggests that success isn't a destination you just arrive at, puff, you're there. It's an identity you meticulously build. The source argues that every single day is actually a test of how badly you want it and whether you'll sacrifice short-term pleasure for long-term growth. Think about that for a second. It's not just about the big life-changing decisions, but those tiny, consistent choices you make every day when faced with, instant gratification versus some future gain.
Yeah, the small hinges that swing big doors.
Exactly. Ultimately, as the text concludes, greatness isn't glamorous. It isn't built in the spotlight. It's built in the lonely hours, in the unseen work, in the quiet moments where only your vision keeps you alive. It's a profound shift in perspective, isn't it? It suggests the true heroes of any great story are often found grinding away quietly, far from any cameras. That idea of the lonely hours, the unseen work, it's so critical because it inherently pushes back against something else the source challenges directly. Our culture's relentless search for the easy way out. And that brings us neatly to the illusion of shortcuts and instant gratification. In a world obsessed with quick wins, the truth, according to our sources, is that real success doesn't come from hacks, gimmicks, or trends. The core idea here is basically that most people want the reward without the struggle, the destination without the journey. But you can't skip the suffering and expect to enjoy the victory. It really makes you wonder, why are we so drawn to the idea of a shortcut in the first place?
Well, it's a deep-seated human tendency, isn't it? I mean, we're kind of wired for efficiency, to conserve energy.
It's path of least resistance.
Exactly. So the idea of bypassing effort is incredibly appealing. This point directly confronts that pervasive societal tendency towards immediate rewards and minimal effort. The source highlights that seeking shortcuts isn't just inefficient in the long run. It's a fundamental misunderstanding of how significant achievements are truly forged. It serves as a pretty stark warning, actually. It says that every shortcut you take comes with a price. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but eventually it will catch you. And this isn't just about external consequences or getting caught. It's also about the internal cost of bypassing those essential developmental steps. You're not just cheating the system, you're kind of cheating yourself out of the very growth you need.
Yeah.
Which raises an important question. What exactly is that internal cost?
And the text vividly illustrates what that price looks like. It paints a really stark picture, actually. It says you'll eventually hit a wall you're not strong enough to climb, or maybe face a storm you never built the endurance to survive. This, it explains, is the cost of skipping the struggle. It literally robs yourself of the very strength the struggle was meant to give you. Imagine trying to become, a strong swimmer without ever pushing through the resistance of the water. You just wouldn't build the muscles, right? Or the lung capacity, the mental grit.
You just flounder.
Exactly. Struggle, the source emphasizes, sharpens you. It hardens your mind, stretches your character, and teaches you how to fight. Without it, you're just fragile success, shiny on the outside, but ready to shatter the moment pressure hits. So this isn't just about achieving a goal. It's about becoming the kind of person who can achieve and then sustain that achievement, which fundamentally requires embracing difficulty.
That's such a crucial point about transformation. And this perspective, it offers a profound sense of intrinsic reward for those who actually choose to embrace the struggle. The source promises a kind of freedom, the freedom that comes from knowing you earned every inch of your progress, and no one can take that from you.
Powerful.
It really is. It implies that the internal transformation you experience through struggle, the growth of character, developing grit, is just as valuable, maybe even more valuable, than the external achievement itself. It's a powerful call to action urging us, stop searching for a way around the work. There isn't one. The only way is through the discomfort, through the setbacks, through the pain. Embracing this, the text suggests, you'll uncover strength, wisdom, and resilience you didn't even know you had. That's where greatness lives, not on the easy path, but on the path that demands your everything. It's almost a defiant stance against comfort, isn't it?
It really is. So what does this all mean for you in your everyday life? in your work, or maybe pursuing your personal aspirations. It's basically a wake-up call to resist the allure of the easy way out. If you're looking for profound, lasting results, this text suggests you need to fundamentally reframe your relationship with effort instead of dreading the hard work. It tells us to view it as the very ingredient that builds lasting capability. The source states flat out that you don't reach greatness by doing what's easy. You get there by doing what's necessary. And it continues, what's necessary is rarely fun, convenient, or popular. It's rejection, it's repetition, it's sacrifice, it's long nights and early mornings. It demands a conscious choice to actually lean into discomfort, to choose the necessary over the convenient every single time. And that leads us right to the bedrock of this whole philosophy, commitment. Okay, moving into our second major section now, we're delving into the unshakable foundation, commitment and daily discipline. And the first point here highlights the vital role of commitment over fleeting motivation. Our sources declare quite simply, commitment is non-negotiable. It's described not as some passing feeling, but as the bridge between wanting and having, between dreaming and doing. It's about doing what needs to be done, not because you feel like it, but because you decided your goals matter more than your mood. This idea of bypassing your mood, that's incredibly powerful for anyone trying to build something significant, don't you think?
Absolutely. And this section draws a really sharp, critical distinction between motivation and commitment. Motivation, as the source accurately depicts it, is fleeting, right? It's that initial spark, the burst of excitement when you start something new or feel inspired. But it fades.
Always does.
Yeah. And many people, the source notes, they wait for motivation or they wait until they feel ready or inspired. But that's just a trap because motivation is inherently unreliable. It comes and goes. Commitment, on the other hand, operates precisely when inspiration is absent. It ensures you keep taking action regardless of your emotional state. It's about designing your actions around a decision, not a feeling.
Okay.
This raises a really important question for all of us. How do we actually build that internal architecture? How do we keep going when that initial fire isn't burning so brightly, when the novelty wears off and the real tedious grind sets in? And the text essentially provides the answer. It's through the deliberate, non-negotiable choice of commitment. It's like a form of pre-commitment to your future self.
And the text calls for nothing less than total immersion, an all-in approach. It says no half measures, no dipping your toes to test the waters. You can't just dabble. When you truly commit, it says the debate is over. There's no plan B. There's no exit strategy. You don't negotiate with yourself. You stay in it for as long as it takes. It's almost like, burning your ships when you land on a new shore. You remove any option to retreat.
Yeah, that's a great analogy.
It describes this kind of commitment as scary, precisely because it demands responsibility. It demands sacrifice. It leaves you with no excuses and no one else to blame when you fall short. It's a stark mirror, isn't it? Reflecting your true resolve. It leaves absolutely no room for self-deception, which, can be terrifying, but also incredibly liberating in a way.
It is terrifying and liberating at the same time. And this implies that self-discipline, when it's driven by this deep commitment, is actually an act of profound self-empowerment. By consciously choosing commitment over immediate comfort or your fluctuating mood, you gain a profound sense of agency over your own destiny.
Right. You take control.
Exactly. If we connect this to the bigger picture, it suggests that consistency, even when you're facing internal resistance or external obstacles, is a direct manifestation of a deeper, more intentional will. It's about exercising your willpower, not just in moments of strength, but especially in those moments of weakness. The source makes it very clear. If you want greatness, make no mistake, you will be tested. There will be obstacles. There will be setbacks. There will be days when you question everything. Commitment doesn't mean the road suddenly becomes smooth. It means you stay the course when nothing seems to be working. It's that unwavering resolve that truly defines the journey, and it transforms obstacles from stopping points into maybe just detours.
So for you listening, this means understanding that your aspirations, they aren't subject to your changing feelings or what's happening around you. It means actively choosing your goals over your fleeting emotions again and again. If you have big goals, the source says, this level of commitment also gives you something far greater power. It gives you the power to control your outcome, the power to shape your future, the power to rise while everyone else stays stuck. Think about that. When you commit, you're not just trying to achieve something. You're actively taking the reins, directing your own path, and building a version of yourself that can overcome pretty much anything. It's a fundamental shift from being a passenger in your own life to being the driver. And that leads us directly into the power of daily discipline and unseen work. Our sources tell us that Commitment is what separates winners from wishers. It's not a temporary mindset. It's a lifestyle. This isn't about grand, heroic gestures you make once in a blue moon. No, it's about showing up day after day when no one's watching and making those crucial daily choices, even when they're small, maybe boring, or just plain difficult.
Precisely. And this section really underscores the continuous nature of commitment. It portrays it as a daily decision, not a one-time event or some fleeting feeling. It's deeply tied to habit formation, isn't it? And the compounding effect of small, consistent actions over time.
Yeah, the compound effect.
The text explicitly states, you don't decide once, you decide every day. You wake up and recommit. You go to bed knowing you gave everything. This kind of ritualistic, consistent approach is presented as fundamental to separating the winners from wishers. It's the relentless day-in, day-out grind, the accumulation of that invisible effort that builds momentum and ultimately visible success. It's like building a cathedral, maybe, brick by tiny brick, where each brick is a daily discipline choice.
I like that. And the text emphasizes a stark contrast here that really resonates. Anyone can stay committed when things are easy, when progress is obvious, when applause is loud. Sure, that's easy. But real commitment, that shows up in the silence, when the results are delayed, when no one notices, when the journey feels lonely. That paints such a vivid picture of the quiet heroism of persistence, right? Those moments where you're really testing your own resolve against, well, nothingness, almost. Imagine an artist practicing scales for hours, or a writer staring at a blank page, or an entrepreneur tirelessly refining a business plan, all with no immediate payoff or external validation.
Yeah, that's the real test.
The source warns against half-hearted efforts, too. Half effort never produces full results.
Yeah.
You can't give 60% and expect 100%. Greatness demands all of you, not sometimes, but always. It's an all-encompassing dedication that touches every part of your intentional life.
And if we connect this to the bigger picture again, it means true champions.
Right.
They aren't defined by their peak performances, those highlight reel moments everyone sees on social media or whatever. They are, in fact, defined by the relentless, often unglamorous grind that precedes and sustains those moments. Champions aren't made in highlight reels, the source says. They're made in the grind, the early mornings, the late nights, the discipline no one sees. This just reemphasizes that greatness is built from the inside out, often in solitude, through that daily discipline. It's the accumulation of those unseen efforts that ultimately leads to undeniable results. It's the silent work that makes the public triumphs possible, and it's what creates a foundation that can withstand scrutiny and pressure.
So for you, this challenges that popular idea that just having passion or purpose is enough to carry you to greatness. The source states, people love to talk about passion and purpose, but passion without consistency is wasted energy. Purpose without commitment is powerless.
Wow, that's direct.
It is. It's a direct critique of the whole follow your passion mantra, if it's not backed by genuine, consistent effort. What truly moves the needle, according to this, is your ability to stay locked in when it's boring, when it's painful, when it's hard. It's about showing up when no one is watching, even when it feels like the universe is conspiring against you. Or maybe worse, when your own internal critic is just screaming at you to quit. This makes it pretty clear that showing up for yourself day after day is the ultimate act of self-belief. Okay, now let's venture into section 3. Forging your strength, embracing struggle and failure. We're starting with the powerful notion of struggle as a refiner, not a destroyer. The core idea here is incredibly transformative, I think. Struggle is not your enemy, it's your greatest teacher. It's even called the forge of greatness. They're to refine you, to burn away the weakness, the fear, the self-doubt, and reveal the strength that's been inside you all along. I find this particularly intriguing because, well, for so long, many of us have been taught to avoid discomfort at all costs.
Yeah, absolutely. Seek comfort.
Yeah. So what specifically does the source say struggle does for us that ease never could?
That's an excellent question because this section fundamentally redefines struggle. It doesn't just call it a teacher, it calls it a refiner, like metal in a forge. It reframes struggle from being an impediment or maybe a sign you're on the wrong path to being an essential, even benevolent tool for profound growth. It asserts that the fire you're walking through right now, it's not here to destroy you, it's here to refine you. And that shift in perspective is absolutely crucial for enduring hardship and understanding its deeper purpose. Without the intense heat of the forge, raw metal can't be shaped into a strong, useful tool. The source explicitly states it's what separates those who only want it from those who are willing to work for it. It's the crucible that truly tests and reveals character, creating a resilience that simply cannot be faked or bought.
And it emphasizes the moments when this perspective matters most, which I think is critical. Not when life is easy, not when everything is going your way. No, it matters when you're exhausted, overwhelmed, and questioning everything. It matters when you're at rock bottom and you choose to keep going anyway. Imagine that moment, the feeling of absolute depletion, the doubt creeping in, the overwhelming urge to just give up. That decision, the source says, made in pain, in doubt, in silence, is described as the very foundation of the future you're building.
Wow.
It's not a signal to stop, it's a call to rise. It truly makes you think differently about your darkest moments, viewing them not as roadblocks, but as the raw material for your greatest strength. It's when you decide not to break that you truly start to build something unbreakable.
And this implies a direct correlation, doesn't it, between the depth of the struggle and the quality of the strength gained. The source argues if everything came easy, there'd be no depth, no appreciation, no character. Victory would mean nothing if it didn't cost you something. Think about it. How much do we truly value something we didn't really work for?
Not much, usually.
Right. The text asserts that the pain isn't punishment, it's preparation. It's building patience, endurance, and forcing you to dig deeper than you ever thought possible. It's like resistance training for your spirit.
Yeah.
And every time you get through the fire, it says, you gain a confidence that can't be faked. The kind that comes from survival, from knowing you walk through hell and refuse to break. That's real strength. That's daily discipline. So the message is crystal clear. Don't curse the struggle. Don't run from it. Embrace it, because that's where your true power is cultivated.
So for you listening, this is incredibly powerful. That discomfort you feel when you're pursuing something truly meaningful. It isn't a sign you're on the wrong path. On the contrary, it's proof that you're standing on the edge of something meaningful. It's the weight you must lift to grow stronger. This is a complete game changer for how you perceive challenges, isn't it?
Yeah.
The world will try to convince you that if it's hard, it's not meant for you. Maybe whispering that there's an easier way. Find the hack.
The path of least resistance again.
Exactly. But our sources tell us the truth is the opposite. That resistance, that difficulty, is actually a confirmation that you're pushing boundaries and developing capabilities you wouldn't otherwise. It's a signal you're probably on the right track. Okay, building on that, let's explore how failure as feedback and a path to persistence is equally crucial. Our sources tell us, quite bluntly, failure isn't the opposite of success, it's the path to it. Every setback is just feedback. The universe asking, how badly do you want it? It's not about being perfect, which is, let's face it, an unattainable goal, but it is about persistence. This is another idea that really flips conventional wisdom on its head, because society often teaches us to fear and avoid failure at all costs.
It absolutely does. And this section explicitly destigmatizes failure, recasting it as an integral, even beneficial part of the process of achieving greatness. It's not a sign to quit, but rather proof that you're in the arena, meaning you're actively trying, you're putting yourself out there, you care enough to risk discomfort.
Right. If you're not failing, you're not trying hard enough.
Exactly. Think about it. If you're not failing occasionally, are you truly pushing your limits? The source directly challenges the myth of effortless success, stating, no one who's ever achieved greatness got there without first failing over and over again. The difference, it asks. They didn't stop. They didn't let failure define them. They turned failure into fuel. This reframing is essential for fostering a resilient mindset, shifting from a mindset of shame, maybe, to one of strategic learning.
The text even goes so far as to say, you learn more from failure than you ever will from success, which is provocative.
It is.
Success feels good, it admits. And yeah, who doesn't like the feeling of winning? But failure teaches you humility. It teaches grit. It strips away ego and replaces it with perspective. It highlights failure as a blessing because it forces you to confront your weaknesses, asserting you can't fix what you don't face. You can't evolve if you believe you already have all the answers. I mean, if you're always succeeding, where's the real incentive to truly examine your methods, to iterate, to find a better way? This perspective makes failure a vital, almost sacred part of the growth process, a necessary component for true mastery.
That's absolutely right. And the source encourages us, look at anyone you admire, leaders, builders, creators, visionaries. It points out that their lives are marked by failure. Rejection, bankruptcy, heartbreak, public embarrassment. Think of any major figure.
You can list them off?
Right. The common thread of their success wasn't the absence of failure, but their decision not to let it be the final chapter. This implies that the true test isn't whether you fall, but whether you rise again and, as the text puts it, keep writing. The world teaches you to fear failure, but that's a lie. Failure isn't the enemy. Failure is proof you're alive, that you're moving, that you're daring to become more than you were yesterday. It even suggests that if you've never failed, it probably means you're playing too small, living safe, comfortable, and suffocating inside that comfort. It's a powerful invitation to step outside your comfort zone and truly engage with life, risks, and all.
So this means for you that every setback or broken plan isn't a dead end. It's maybe a redirection or a refinement. It's not about avoiding failure, but about actively turning it into fuel. It's about taking that hard-won data from a failed attempt and using it to inform your next, hopefully better attempt. The question then becomes, are you willing to keep showing up? Are you willing to try again and again and again until the breakthrough comes? That's what success demands, the source says. Not perfection, persistence. It's a profound shift from aiming for flawless execution to embracing persistent, iterative effort, knowing that each failure is just a step closer to success, if you let it be. Okay, now let's move into our final section, authoring your own story, owning your path and embracing mastery. This first part is about reclaiming your focus from external validation. And the powerful core idea here is you don't need permission to become who you're meant to be. This is your story, not one to be defined or approved by others. The moment you stop seeking approval, it says, is the moment you take back your power.
And the source emphatically states your scars matter, your mistakes matter, your dreams matter. It really feels like a call to radical self-acceptance and fierce determination, doesn't it?
It is, and it's incredibly empowering. This section shifts the focus directly to the internal locus of control. Where does your validation come from? It addresses that really common human tendency to seek external validation or permission from others before we fully step into our own power. It argues that true agency lies inherently in self-determination. The world, the source reminds us, will try to box you in, to label you, to define your limits subtly, or sometimes not so subtly, telling you who you can and cannot be based on their standards. But then it swiftly counters with this profound truth. The pen is in your hand. You are the author. You decide what happens next. This is a call to take absolute, undeniable ownership of your narrative, to rewrite the script if necessary, and to recognize that your inherent worth doesn't depend on anyone else's opinion, period.
The text talks about too many people live stuck in hesitation, waiting for the perfect moment, the perfect validation, the perfect green light to finally start. And this paints such a vivid picture of a life lived in neutral, right? Paralyzed by external expectations, by the fear of judgment.
Yeah.
Waiting for permission that never comes.
Exactly. But the source suggests there's a specific tipping point. The moment you stand up and say, "This is my life, this is my story, and I will live it my way," is the moment fear begins to lose its grip. Fear, the source explains, feeds on silence. It thrives when you shrink yourself to fit in.
Yeah.
But the second you rise, the second you claim your identity, fear loses its power. It's about finding your authentic voice, stepping into your truth, and realizing that the only permission you truly need is your own.
And this liberation from external judgment, it allows for the authentic pursuit of one's purpose without compromise. It's about building an inner compass that's far more reliable than shifting external opinions. The text encourages us to let your pain be your fuel. Let it drive you so fiercely that the world has no choice but to notice. You are not here to play small. You are not here to be a background character in your own life. You are here to take center stage. And crucially, it advises, stop comparing your journey to someone else's highlight reel. We all do it, right? Scroll through social media.
Constantly. Yeah, but you don't know their battles. You don't know the price they paid. This path is yours alone, and comparing it to others only detracts from your unique journey. It robs you of the appreciation for your own struggles and triumphs. Your story is valid precisely because it is yours.
So for you, this is an invitation to radical self-acceptance and self-authorship. It's a reminder that you are not defined by your past. You're not chained to your upbringing, your environment, or your history. These things may have shaped you, it acknowledges, but they do not dictate your destiny. You do. Every single morning, you are given another chance to decide who you become. And if your past has been filled with pain, or rejection, or failure, then let that be the fuel for the chapter where everything changes. It's such a powerful call to seize your present moment, to acknowledge your experiences, but then to actively design the next chapter of your life with intention and fierce commitment. This isn't about ignoring your past, it's about transforming it into strength. Okay, finally, we arrive at the topic of mastery. Beyond talent, built in the grind. This challenges a really common misconception head-on. Talent alone won't save you. It says true greatness is not given, it's forged. It's born from obsession, from discipline, from the relentless pursuit of excellence. It makes it unequivocally clear that mastery doesn't happen by accident. It's built in the daily grind. This is a powerful distinction because so many people assume that once you have talent, everything else just kind of flows easily.
It's a critical distinction, yeah. And one that separates the truly exceptional from those who simply show potential but never quite realize it. This section explicitly distinguishes between talent and mastery, arguing that while talent might give you an initial advantage, maybe make things come easier at first, it's utterly insufficient for sustained, undeniable success. The source states pretty bluntly, the world is full of gifted people who never made it because they relied on potential and never committed to mastery.
Potential isn't performance.
Exactly. Mastery, by contrast, is presented as a deliberate, intentional cultivation of skill through the daily grind, the early mornings, the late nights, the hours no one sees. It's about deliberate practice, focused repetition, and the conscious, consistent effort to develop and refine every single aspect of your craft. It's the difference between being naturally good at something and relentlessly pursuing the absolute best version of that ability.
And the text describes how the great ones never stop improving. They don't wait for motivation. They don't wait for the perfect moment. They show up rain or shine. They study the game. They practice with intention. They review their mistakes, and they chase better every single day. This highlights that mastery isn't glamorous. It's not flashy. It's repetition.
The boring stuff.
Yeah, it's drilling the fundamentals until they become second nature. It's doing the work when it's boring, when no one is clapping, when the results haven't shown up yet. Think about a concert pianist practicing scales for hours, day after day, or a legendary athlete working on basic drills long after they've reached the absolute pinnacle of their sport. It's that relentless, focused dedication to the often mundane process that ultimately leads to extraordinary performance. It's the quiet obsession with the fundamentals.
And this commitment to the fundamentals, that's what truly sets the elite apart. The source emphasizes that the elite don't cut corners. They don't settle for looking good. They are committed to being good. This implies a deep internal drive for excellence, completely independent of external validation or applause. It's about chasing precision, not praise. Chasing effectiveness, not just appearance. With the understanding that, yeah, maybe the cheers will come later, but right now it's about the work. It's about getting sharper, tighter, better. This perspective offers a profound sense of purpose for anyone willing to engage with their craft on that deep foundational level, acknowledging that when you do, you don't just rise above the rest, you become undeniable. It's a confidence that comes from knowing you've truly earned your capability, a quiet certainty that can't be easily shaken.
So what does this all mean for you as you pursue your own version of excellence, whatever that looks like? It means you basically have a choice every day. You're either getting better or you're falling behind. There's no neutral gear, really.
Right. No standing still.
No. This isn't about some unattainable perfection, though. It's about consistent, incremental improvement. It's about showing up daily, brick by brick, choice by choice, until those small efforts compound into something undeniable. Every rep counts. Every decision matters. Every sacrifice adds up. The source urges you. Treat it like it matters. Protect your focus. Eliminate distractions. Do what others won't. It's a powerful call to action for anyone striving for excellence, reminding us that mastery isn't some destination you reach, but a continuous journey of disciplined growth. Wow. Okay, we've taken a truly deep dive into the discipline of greatness, uncovering some profoundly challenging but I think ultimately empowering truths. We've seen how success isn't found as meticulously forged, brick by often painful brick. We've explored how comfort is often just a subtle trap, and that unwavering commitment triumphs over fleeting motivation, serving as the bedrock of any meaningful achievement. We've also unpacked how struggle and failure aren't roadblocks to be avoided at all costs, but essential refining tools that, when you actually embrace them, build unshakable confidence and character. And perhaps most importantly, we've seen how reclaiming your story, owning it, and embracing the now transforms you from a passive bystander into the active, undeniable author of your destiny, all through the relentless pursuit of mastery.
Yeah, the core message resonating from all these insights is, I think, crystal clear. Greatness is not stumbled upon. It's not granted. It is meticulously built brick by brick, habit by habit, moment by moment. There really are no shortcuts, no secret doors, just discipline, consistency, and an unshakable commitment to the path, your path. You will struggle, you will fall, you will feel the urge to quit. That's part of it. But every setback is part of the process. Every failure is a lesson, if you choose to see it that way.
Yeah.
Every delay is just a test of your resolve. And if you keep going, if you stay committed when it's not convenient, when it's boring, when no one is watching, your rise will be unstoppable because it will be undeniable, built on solid ground.
So, as you reflect on this deep dive, maybe consider this. The world will relentlessly try to convince you that if it's hard, if it's uncomfortable, if it brings you doubt or pain, then it's simply not meant for you. Find something easier.
The easy way out.
Yeah. But what if the opposite is true? What if the very resistance you encounter, the pain you feel, and the doubt you face are simply confirmation that you're standing right on the edge of something truly meaningful? What if they are simply the necessary ingredient for you to become that unstoppable version of yourself that you've always envisioned deep down?
The choice ultimately is yours, and the source lays it out very plainly. Win or stay the same. There's no middle ground in this view. The text urges, go all in, burn the excuses, own your journey, commit to your vision with everything inside you. Which will you choose? We hope this deep dive has given you some powerful tools, some different perspectives to maybe help you make that decision with unwavering conviction.